This is Michael Wilson. We're looking at what is the significance of Iconium in the Bible. Let's do it. So if you're interested in learning more about biblical places that Paul visited during his missionary journeys, and there's a lot of value in doing that, you may want to know more about Iconium. It's a city that's mentioned several times in the book of Acts and in 2 Timothy. We're going to explore the history, geography, and significance of Iconium in the Bible. Iconium was an ancient capital city of a region known as Lycaonia, and it was part of the Roman province of Galatia. It was located in a fertile and very well-watered plain. It was around the Roman road called Via Sebaste, which connected Ephesus and Antioch. So this was a major, well-traveled city. It was founded by the Fijians, and it was the ancient people who spoke an Indo-European language and had a very distinctive culture and religion. According to some legends, Iconium was named after an image of the Gorgon that Perseus brought into the city, or after an image of the mud that Prometheus and Athena used to create humans after the flood. It was a very cosmopolitan and wealthy city. So imagine, New York, Atlanta, LA. It had a diverse population of people, Greeks, Romans, Jews, and native Lycaonians. And it had a strong Hellenistic influence from the Greeks. It had temples, theaters, baths, other public buildings. It also had a Jewish community and had a synagogue there where Paul and Barnabas preached the good news on their first missionary journey. So many Jews and Greeks believed in their message, but some Jews from Antioch and Iconium stirred up opposition and persecution against them. So Paul and Barnabas had to literally flee the city, and they went on to other cities like Lystra and Derbe. Paul visited Iconium again on his second missionary journey. So Paul didn't abandon them. He recognized the importance of the churches there and the work that God was doing. He was also accompanied by the other apostles, Silas and Timothy. He probably visited it on his third journey as well, but there's not a specific reference to that. He endured many hardships and sufferings there, and he was later recalled in his letter to Timothy. He also made many disciples there, and they gave him a good testimony. It was one of the churches that Paul addressed in his letter to the Galatians, where he defended his apostolic authority and the doctrine of justification by faith alone. So Iconium was an important city, and it was the center of Christianity in Asia Minor, especially after it became a Roman colony under the Emperor Hadrian. It was also a birthplace of several Christian saints and martyrs. One of them was Thesia, who was a female disciple of Paul, who was celebrated in the apocryphal Acts of Paul and Thesia. It was written in the 2nd century BC. It survived several invasions by the Persians, the Arabs, and the Turks, and it's still inhabited today under the name of Konya in Turkey. So it's famous for being the home of Rumi, 13th century Persian poet and mystic who founded the Sufi order of the whirling dervishes. So it's a fascinating example of how God used Paul to spread the good news to different cultures. And that's our assignment today. Are we spreading the good news of Jesus to different cultures? Or do we just sit content in our own little world, in our own little way, doing nothing to spread the good news? Paul suffered for this. Are we ready to do that? And it also shows how God preserved his church through history, despite the persecution and the opposition. We can learn from the faithfulness and courage of Paul and his companions, as well as from the grace and power of God that worked through them. And that's some mighty good news, brothers and sisters.